to the Julie and Kaz Show.
Hello, peeps.
So we are two wonderful ladies in the health and wellness space, and we talk about different health topics according to our expertise. And I am Julie. My company is Balanced Life with Julie. I talk about health and nutrition coaching, getting people to live a nice, healthy, holistic lifestyle.
And I am Kaz. I am a registered massage therapist, an energy healer, and meditation coach. I own a wellness center in Whitby called Key Health and Wellness. And today we're talking about movement.
Move your body. Move your body.
Vogue. I think we should just do that the whole podcast.
Dance, 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 dance.
Oh,
So-
the end.
So I found a stat. I found a couple of stats that I think are
You and
really...
your stats.
I love stats. I'm a science person. So apparently only 13% of Canadians actually exercise on a regular basis. And then globally, the stat is like 60 to 85% of the human population doesn't actually exercise. And this is not good. Muy not good.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Now, when you say exercise, is that like on a regular basis, like 3 times a week? Or does it mean I walk to the fridge and back? Like
walking
How
to the
does that-
fridge does not count as exercise, nor does moving your thumbs on an iPhone. Yeah. No, like when we're talking about movement, it can be anything from, say, walking. I'm a huge fan of walking because it uses your whole body and it's really healing. Like it's great for lymphatic drainage, helps push toxins out of your body. Great for like your bones because you're working with your own body weight. And so really great for your brain in terms of brain health, because when we're sedentary for long periods of time, not only is it not good for our body, but it's actually not good for our brain. Because when we don't have energy circulating through our body and blood flow circulating through our body, our brain doesn't get oxygen and nutrients as well. Yep. So it can be anything, like in terms of movement, it can be anything from like walking or dancing or jogging and jumping on a trampoline to, doing a HIIT class or boxing. So it's really, I always tell clients, you want to do whatever kind of movement that you actually enjoy doing. So if you don't like going to the gym, don't go to the gym. Find something else to do, because if you're always going to be resisting it, then you're never going to make yourself go to the gym. You want to find something that you actually enjoy doing. So you'll do it.
Absolutely. And I just want to discuss the gym situation. If you're going to the gym, please make sure that the movement you're doing is correct, because I see so many clients that have hurt themselves at the gym because they're doing improper movements. So when we're talking movements, make sure that you are doing it in correct form. Otherwise, you're actually going to really hurt your body.
Yeah.
And while that's good for my business, it's not good
For you.
for you.
I always tell clients too, like there's now with YouTube and the online space, and there's access to so many types of movements and workouts that you can do from the comfort of your own home. I also think that it's worth investing in hiring someone who's going to help you with your form, because once you understand your body and the form, then you can hopefully do it correctly. But if you're like working out at home or doing yoga at home, but you're completely clueless as to alignment, then you can definitely hurt yourself. And if you're serious about, getting healthy and helping your body to get stronger, it's important to actually educate yourself about the movements that you're taking on and make sure that you're doing proper form. A, so that you're getting the benefits of it. B, so you don't hurt yourself.
Absolutely. I know, and you'll obviously attest to this being a yoga instructor, is there is such a difference between doing something at home. So you're watching a video and you're doing the movement and you're like, oh, that's good. And then you go to a class, specifically classes at Key Health and Wellness, the instructor is able to come and actually do little adjustments, and that changes everything. It changes the way your body feels. It changes the muscles that are suddenly being engaged, and you get a much more efficient workout than you would if you were to just kind of do it at home. And again, like we're saying, you have more of a risk of hurting yourself when you do that.
Yeah. The other thing also is that a lot of people have imbalances in their body, and they may not necessarily know how to correct those imbalances. And more, like there are these kinds of functional type workouts that are out there, which are great. But if you're not sure of what your imbalances are and where you may need to correct your form, then you're just kind of leading your body into more and more imbalance. And so it's good to have like either a personal trainer who really knows like anatomy and physiology and can help you in that space, or even work with a really good therapist who knows anatomy and physiology and can be like, okay, well, this muscle is not firing correctly, so you're going to do this exercise to get that muscle to fire correctly. So let's say, for example, your glutes aren't firing. So every time you do certain movements, your glutes are checked out. So you probably want to work with your glutes, make friends with them, and get them to start firing, because you need those muscles, especially in certain types of movements, like say squats.
Yes. And even just having someone that's going to be able to help you modify if you need to. You have to listen to and honor your body, because otherwise you're going to do some potentially irreparable damage. A lot of people who do say squats, because they're being done improperly, get a lot of knee issues. And so maybe there's something else that can be done in the meantime, like maybe a weighted lunge, something else that takes the pressure off of knee issues as well.
Well, I mean, the other thing also is like you have to recognize where your body's at. So for example, like I'm somebody who's always been physically active. And then a couple of years ago, I was in a car accident. I broke a couple of bones, and left ankle, right wrist. And yeah, it's so awkward. Two totally different sides of the body. Yeah. I had to take 3 months off of movement, like all movement, no yoga, no working out. And when I came back, I had to modify everything, everything. I couldn't run. I couldn't jump. I couldn't even do like a plank because I couldn't put pressure on my wrists. So I was modifying everything for close to a year. And I had to accept where my body was at. And I mean, not to mention that I had been off for 3 months. So I lost a lot of strength, physical strength in my body. And it took time. So I had to be really patient with myself. What was really cool about that experience, if you can say that, is I got to appreciate, like from a teaching standpoint, where a lot of my yoga students came from, where they lived very sedentary lives and then they started moving and they didn't have that muscular strength built up. And so they're in a position where they do have to modify everything. It definitely humbled me from a teaching standpoint, and gave me a better perspective in where people are when they decide one day, okay, I'm going to start doing yoga, or I'm going to start working out, but their body's not used to it. So it takes some time to get that strength built up. And I think it's really important to be patient and kind to yourself. Like I'm not one, even though I do high intensity workouts, I'm not one of like push. Like I don't think that gets us to where we want to go. I think our body responds much better to kindness,
absolutely,
and modifications and loving care. And when we work with what our body is giving us, we get stronger and are feeling better overall, versus like if we push, get injured, we'll actually be taking a few steps backwards.
Absolutely. And I don't want this to deter someone. We're simply saying that start off a little bit slower, maybe start by walking, start by taking the stairs at work. If you spend a lot of time sitting all day, then monitoring your time and start to get up and move. Set a timer where you do some like range of motion exercises, anything to get your muscles out of autopilot mode, because otherwise we're going to start to get in this
hunch
like position. Varicose veins start to occur because we're sitting where it's not normal for the knees to be at this 90-degree angle for such a long period of time. The low back gets wrecked. And so a lot of people are like, I have this low back pain. It won't go away. And it's actually not because of your low back, by the way. It's because of a different muscle. But we'll talk about that at another time.
Yeah. And it also has to do with the fact that when our blood is pumping from our heart, it's meant to go everywhere in our body. But if we're sitting, we're kind of like closed off at the hips. And the other thing even though we're sitting as we record this podcast,
I'm doing circles with my legs.
The thing with sitting for long periods of time is that things aren't actually circulating in your body correctly or properly. So you want to be moving. Getting up once an hour, even if you have a desk job, getting up once an hour and just like walk around the office or see if you can get some fresh air. The other thing to look at doing is, if you are sitting for many, many hours a day, start going to some yoga classes where you're focusing on opening up your hips and your low back and getting the blood flowing that way. In terms of exercise, like if your intention is to add to your workouts, always start with walking. Walking is a great whole body exercise. And then maybe one day you'll be like walking for a minute, running for a minute, or jogging for a minute. Really ask yourself, like, what is it that you enjoy doing? If it's like getting down and dancing in your kitchen, then do that. Like start blaring the music and dance around. But
what's that class? Zumba? Is that what
Zumba is so much fun. I am a terrible dancer, but I like Zumba. I don't think I do it well.
I think that's kind of the point, is just to get out and get moving and having fun.
Yeah. And there's always there's community centers all over the place that always have classes that are very reasonably priced. So, if you're someone who can't afford those high-end classes, then we live in a world where there's access at any sort of income bracket.
Exactly. Or even if you want to do the whole YouTube thing, we're by no means saying that you shouldn't do that. It's just being cautious that you want to make sure your alignment is right, that your posture is right. If it doesn't feel good, stop what you're doing, especially if you get any sort of sharp pains or anything. That's not normal. So don't continue to do it. If you're watching like a series, and so they kind of get to a point and maybe they're doing these like aggressive squats and you're finding that your knees start to hurt, then just sit that one out. It's not going to decrease your workout in any way, but it is going to ruin your knees if you keep doing it.
Yeah.
So just honor yourself.
Yeah.
But just the key really is to get up and move. It's going to help elevate your mood because things are circulating around. It increases serotonin and
increases endorphins.
Exactly.
Endorphins are those feel-good chemicals that you get after a workout.
And they also help to kind of work against pain, right? So they're like pain relievers as well.
Great for brain health. So especially if you're concerned about diseases that affect the brain, you want to have oxygen and blood flow to your brain because that will keep your brain young
and keep you alive.
Oh yeah, there's the whole
that little
thing,
tidbit. I've done my stats, Julie. According to my stats, people that don't have brain functions, because of oxygen decrease,
great for bone density as well. Especially as we age, we lose some bone density. But if you're doing things like walking and you're doing body weighted exercises like yoga, those are amazing for keeping your bones healthy.
And your joints too, because they're flushing nutrients in and out. So they help your joints last a lot longer and I guess strengthen them as well. So wrapping it up.
I mean, we could talk about movement all day long.
We'll do many, many episodes on movement.
But that's a starter.
So just get up and move, people.
Yeah.
Get going.
In the comments,
dance.
let us know.
Make a little love. Get down tonight.
in the comments, just let us know, like, what are your favorite ways to move? And if it's, getting down, sure, put that in there.
Not so much the making love. We don't need to know.
We don't need to know the details.
It's not that kind of podcast.
You can find us on the social at, for me, it's at Julie Dora.
And for me, it is at Key Health and Wellness Whitby. That's KI Health and Wellness Whitby.
There you go.
Bye.
Peace out. Bye.
This show has been produced by podcastexpert.ca.